And our top focus and we're on right now. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is heading to West Asia again on his new crisis tour of the region. Well, Blinken seeks to push forward a proposal to halt the devastating conflict in return for the release of the remaining hostages. And this will be Blinken's fifth visit to the tense region since the October 7th attack. The top American diplomat will visit Israel, Egypt and Qatar as a part of US's diplomatic push to prevent a wider war. While a major focus of this trip will be to push a proposal that calls for pauses in fighting in exchange for the release of hostages. Now, the proposal under discussion was drafted last week in Paris during the talks involving the CIA chief and Israeli, Qatari and Egyptian officials as well. Sources say that the text, it consists a first phase of a 40-day ceasefire. As a part of this plan, during this time, Hamas will free remaining hostages in exchange for Palestinian prisoners. Although, according to the U.S. National Security Advisor, the hostage release deal is elusive. Jake Sullivan says an agreement to pause the war and free hostages captured by Hamas is not imminent. He says the ball is now in Hamas's court. Well, Antony Blinken, who has embarked for his West Asia tour just 2 days after the United States carried out retaliatory strikes against Iranian-linked targets in Iraq and Syria. The latest escalation of the conflict that the American President Joe Biden had initially sought to avoid. White House has said that they intend to continue attacking Iran-backed groups in Iraq, Syria and Yemen. Meanwhile, on the Red Sea front, Britain's Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has justified the strikes on Yemen's Houthis as self-defense against the Iran-backed group's continued targeting of commercial ships and warships. Take a listen.
Well, since the last set of strikes, we've seen the Houthis continue to attack shipping in the Red Sea. That's obviously unacceptable, it's illegal, it puts innocent people's lives at risk and has economic consequences. Now, that includes attacks, by the way, on British-linked vessels, and that's why we've acted again in self-defence, in a proportionate way, and together with our allies. I've been clear that I won't hesitate to protect British lives, British interests, and our diplomatic efforts are focused on bringing de-escalation and stability back to the region.
Meanwhile, on Thursday, U.S. had imposed sanctions on extremist settlers in the West Bank. And now Canada will also impose sanctions on Israeli settlers who incite violence in the West Bank. And this is according to Canada's foreign minister. Ottawa will also introduce new sanctions on Hamas leaders. Now, the Israeli army has also released a footage which shows Israeli troops conducting raids at Hamas facilities in Gaza's Khan Yunis. During the raid, IDF says they were able to find weapons kept by Hamas militants, further adding that the Israeli troops in Khan Yunis were able to seize a Hamas compound where they killed several gunmen as well. Although WION was not able to independently verify the location or the date when the videos were released.